So my name is Harvey Johnson. I am the CEO of PBMares. We are a top 100 accounting firm, kind of based off of the East Coast. We have offices in Virginia, Maryland, and North Carolina. We have 13 offices and around 400 employees today, and growing exponentially each and every year. Well, I think what is rewarding about being in the CEO role is just the impact you get to have. We always like to talk about our circle of influence, right? And as you grow and you get into more leadership roles and responsibilities, then your circle of influence grows. The impact that our organization has is on 400 individuals and their families, and it's on the communities that we serve. So that in itself is just so rewarding, and so rewarding to see the firm grow. Stepping into a new CEO, sometimes you don't really know all the challenges. Like, I had not been a CEO before, so there were certainly a lot of you don't know what you don't know. But a couple of things that I wanted to make sure that we addressed is preparing the organization for, call it the future. Our firm has been around since 1963, so we've been around for 60 years. And like many professional service firms, we have three goals. We want to provide excellent client service, we want to support the communities in which we live and serve, and we want to take care of our people. That mission has been the same for 60 years. Obviously, the how we achieve that goal has changed dramatically over that time. You just look at all the things that are changing in our world today. What got us here today is not going to be what makes us successful for the next 60 years. We had this wonderful foundation, we had a great culture, but really stepping back to think, how do we need to show up as leaders? What do we need to do as an organization to support the firm and prepare us for all of the change and the challenges ahead? Our firm has 50 partners. So when I think about the alignment journey for PBMares, it was twofold. One, again, stepping in as a new CEO, you think about wanting to build the rapport with your team. Know your team's strengths, your weaknesses, the 5 dysfunctions of a team. You wanted to make sure your team was highly functional. And so the alignment work was really an opportunity for us to assess and identify where our skills and where our strengths were, and make sure that we were aligned and highly functioning. And then you start to kind of amplify that and look at the rest of the leaders in the organization and how do we bring everyone else along in the alignment journey. So, what I remember about meeting Karrikins Group in 2020, and what surprised me, I think, the most, remember, this was the COVID year. We planned to meet each other in person, and we went virtual. And I'll be honest, I was skeptical of the nature of the work we were going to be doing. We, as an organization, and even as a world, hadn't done a lot of virtual type workshops and things of that nature. I was just so blown away at how the Karrikins team handled it. You could see the alignment in their leadership group, and the way they approached that work just made it very, very comfortable. We built rapport, we built a relationship, we made it very natural for our team to get engaged. And so I just remember having skepticism at the start, but how quickly you all just completely wiped that away and made it a great experience for PBMares. What really surprised me about my team and the alignment work we were doing was how receptive they were and just how engaged. Our team has been really, really committed to doing the work, seeing the work through after we kind of ended the program. Not having a ton of experience working together, you really don't know how that is all going to come together. But I was just blown away by their commitment, their level of engagement, the way we talked through the trade-offs and all of the tensions, if you will, within an organization and how to manage those. I was really surprised at how well they responded and how quickly they responded to take on a new mindset. What I'm most proud of about the work that our team has done is twofold. Again, we have built this wonderful rapport on how we're going to lead together. But for me, what was so powerful about this work was defining culture. If you ask most organizations, they'll say, yes, we have a strong culture, but really, can you define it? And more importantly is, how would your people define it? How would the employees in your organization define your culture? And what we have done with our team commitments is really put our stake in the ground. When we did that and revised our core values, we said, this is who we are and this is who we want to be. And there's so many benefits of having that level of clarity and transparency. And so it's something that we've been able to amplify across the firm, because now there's shared meaning. Everyone understands when we say teach and delegate, or team and collaborate together, communicate constructively. There's shared meaning around that. And so the impact around the culture of what I've seen, I've been blown away. Karrikins does these assessments, these surveys, if you will, on how you're doing. And one of the things that was a little bit frustrating for me of wanting to see progress is our scores kept coming in right at the same level. And what was really exciting was 6 months ago when when Karrikins did the last assessment, all of our scores had doubled. Literally all of them, 100% increase from where they were. And so it's one thing for me to see the change, and I saw the shift, but when others start to see it and see the change, that is the really powerful moment. When I think about situations where our team is responding differently than maybe how we would have in the past, is one, previously our organization had a lot of the decisions were made at the top. And we've been very, very intentional about, as we've grown, to decentralize, empower our people to lead. And so one, just seeing them step into those roles where they're now making decisions and feeling comfortable about it, but then using our team commitments, using the shared language. When you get to be the size of our organization and we have all these competing priorities, that ability to, as we quote, have that enterprise mindset and use the language when they're explaining their decision to their teams or their people is dramatically different than what it was before. When I think about my leadership journey and how I have used alignment and what has been, I wouldn't say it's been a struggle, but what has been a lesson for me is patience and consistency and the repetition and using the same language, showing up, as you will, the same way. We think about it as a sense of, how do I need to show up today to be successful, to be a better leader, to be a better boss, a better friend, better husband, whatever it is, what do I need to do? And I'm not a very patient person. So when you say, well, 3 years, it's going to take 3 years to shift a culture, that's hard because you want to see the results. You have a sense of urgency that you want to see within the organization of, seeing the change. And so practicing that patience, really leaning in and trusting my team that we've done the alignment work, and it's okay, we're going to make mistakes along the way, but we're also going to work together and figure them out. When you come from the role that I did in the firm, where you're a partner and you make a lot of decisions and you're in a silo, if you will, to making decisions at an enterprise level, you have to have that trust amongst your team. And we would not be in that situation had we not done the alignment work. We certainly got there a lot faster and built a lot of that confidence and trust in each other. Well, I think what's different is for employees today in our alignment work is, one, having that understanding. It's hard to meet expectations or understand the firm's strategic objectives of who we are, who we want to be. When we say we want to have a great culture, they didn't have, I would say, that same level of clarity before. again, you set expectations, you're very clear around them. It allows people to quote unquote self-manage. This is what I need to do to get to the next level. This is what I need to do to succeed. And here's the framework of which we're going to do that. So I feel like I've seen a huge impact. We have really embedded all of our alignment work at every layer within the organization. I come to every new hire orientation, I meet every employee, and we start with that work, talking about who we are, who we want to be, why is the culture important, and then they go through the training curriculum, the programs that we've built, all have these team commitments and core values just embedded into them. We actually did a town hall a couple of weeks ago where we talked about the team commitments, and we asked the employees to share their own examples of how do you see yourself or how do you see the firm living these core values and team commitments, and also give us the feedback where you see the disconnects, where are we not doing a good job. And it was really, really powerful to see all of our employees, the way it resonated with them and how quickly they were able to use examples of communicating constructively, and all of our team commitment language was just, it was really, really empowering. And it was really wonderful to see as a CEO of all the work we've done is taking hold. And that's a really powerful moment. What I think is different for clients based off the alignment work we've done is we've brought all of these leadership traits to them in the sense of how we show up to serve them. Our world are changing. Our clients' needs are so complex and they're quickly evolving. This was why, to me, it was so important for us to do this work. We have actually been working with Karrikins on a number of different fronts. One, we started out with our alignment work, and I'm glad we started there on the how. When they talk about their diamond triangle, it's the why, the what, and the how. And so the how is how we lead and how we show up. The what is kind of your strategy. What are you going to do to achieve those objectives? And it was really, really powerful. If I can back up and share a little bit around our strategic planning process. Our last plan, it was a 3-year plan. It took us 18 months to develop. Our plan in working with Karrikins, they helped us expedite and facilitate that in 4 months. And I feel personally that the power that's in the plan itself is infinitely better than what we had in our previous plan. And it also is flexible, right? You can't predict what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. We have this goal, we have this strategic destination of where we want to be in our journey, but how we get there is going to evolve and change. And so it was able to create agility and a flexibility in our strategic plan that we'd never had before. It was a rigid, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to get there, these are literally the steps we're going to take. And you can't do that in today's world. When we started our plan in 2018, we didn't anticipate COVID changing the entire world. You can't bake that into a strategic plan. So your plan has to be agile and flexible enough. And that was really one of the powerful things that the Karrikins team brought to us, was being able to identify where you want to go, but recognize how you get there is going to evolve, and how to navigate that, how to communicate that to your teams and to your people has been a huge benefit of the work of working together with Karrikins. My favorite thing to tell people when they ask me about working with Karrikins is, one is just the relationship. You obviously want to work with people that you enjoy and that you know are bringing all the different skills to the table. And we have absolutely enjoyed our partnership and relationship with Karrikins, and that's been wonderful. And I think it's been very, very powerful the way you all have been able to do the work you do, whether it's remotely or in person. That's very, very hard to connect with people over a screen. And y'all did it so seamlessly. I love the icebreakers and the way we spend time just talking about our families and our weekends and how those things, you don't often do that when you're doing things virtually. Karrikins has been very, very intentional about creating the space to get to know the people, get to know the organization, understand the challenges that they're dealing with to help provide those solutions. And that's the power of working with Karrikins. What I am most looking forward to when I think about PBMares and all that we're trying to achieve in our strategy and over this next 5 years, because it's wildly ambitious goals. We had our board chair say in a meeting a couple of weeks ago, I don't know that we're going to be able to achieve everything that's in this plan, but if we do, we may not be the biggest firm, but we're going to be one of the best firms in the country. And that just speaks to the power of what is in the plan and the work we've done. And so you think about the multiplier effect, right? What's the power of having all 50 of our partners rowing in the same direction, leading the same way, showing up the same way, the impact that's going to have on our culture, the impact that is going to have on our strategic initiatives. We have the opportunity to achieve all of the goals that we've set. And that is a very, very, it's a good position to be in sitting today.